boots on the ground, rhythm chasing beats around, footsteps echo like a drum, feel the pulse, that's where you're from. Beats sing to the bass so wild, lights are flashing and I speak out, dance floors burning under our feet, this is the rhythm where the walls meet. Sweetly breeze your electric sights, shine your teeth beneath the skies, your body moves like siren scream, a ship of fire, every dream. Beats sing to the bass so wild, lights are flashing and I speak out, dance floors burning under our feet, this is the rhythm where the walls meet.
Right, who's this? Right here, PJ.
Alright, welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. And yeah, welcome in, everyone. Happy. Today Tuesday? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. So yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome back, I should say. Hey, I want Spire to win so bad. Yeah, we're gonna look into that today because I don't know what the heck is going on with the election. It's crazy. Like I guess we're still waiting for the ballots, which is wild. Here, let me turn down the music just a tad. Yeah, that's wild that we're still waiting for the results. But I mean, I guess this is how it always is. I guess it's just they couldn't do no algorithm type thing and give us a prediction of who is going to win. It's just that close of a race, right? All right. Yeah. So I don't know. We're gonna look into this together. Figure everything out, and see what is what the state of California is gonna be looking like. So yeah, I didn't even prepare anything. Give me a second. Lego Source Superior said, if Steyer doesn't win, I'm gonna put 1 million of my fraudulent homeless votes in for Steyer. Bro, okay, so like it sounds like Donald Trump is already starting with already saying that there is election fraud happening. I think it might be in just regards to the LA mayoral race, but Donald Trump is gonna do his Donald Trump thing. Anywhere a Republican is not winning, he's gonna go out and say, that there's election fraud. I think he's also gone back to doubling down on the 2020 election being stolen from him. And it's like, bro, we already dealt with this. We already agreed that the 2020 election, you lost it, homie. Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. And it wasn't stolen. Biden won because people were just upset with how COVID was going. But, Donald Trump's gonna Donald Trump and, cheat, lie, and, do the same thing that he's done to make himself look good. That's just how he operates. In other annoying Donald Trump news, Baron Trump started a yerba mate, stealing my culture. He started a yerba mate energy drink brand. Lego Source Superior said, I've seen some of these MAGA morons are so mad they've been commenting that they want the votes counters to be imprisoned for life. Okay, that's the route that they're taking. That's crazy, but I'm not surprised. All right, let me get my stuff together here. Don't stream in a week and everything is chaos. But I did want to make a point to remind everyone watching that it is important to take a break from politics sometimes, okay? I did not stream for a few days, well, I guess a week, because not necessarily I was taking a break from politics, I was still on it, But we had a lot of great moves before the election, and so it's good to with the good, definitely. Well, I mean, with good, there's always going to be bad. I'm not saying bad was happening, but with the good, there's going to be little mellow times, and it's just always important to remember that what's going on in the world is crazy right now, and it doesn't seem like it's getting better, and I'm sure on a lot of personal levels, a lot of people's personal levels, things are getting more expensive, things are getting smaller, shrinkflation, and so life is getting a little bit more difficult to do every day, I guess. It's a little bit more difficult to live the lifestyle that we've had. And I'm not saying that I've had a extravagant lifestyle, right? It's just, this is something all of America is going to have to deal with. But yeah, let's not be negative about that. It's just, always good to just check yourself out a little bit, even if it's for a short while, just to, to reset, to reset mentally, to be able to take on whatever is coming next. Because if you just go nonstop, day after day after day, then it's gonna catch up with you. So yeah, that's my little preach for the day. Welcome in to the stream, everyone. My name is Angelina Tucci, and we are going to go over Inland Empire, California, and probably that's it. I don't want to look at any other elections that happened across the state, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening. But I want to look into California and the Inland Empire because we need to figure out what in the what in the heliante is going on with these elections. Also, if y'all were paying attention, a couple days ago, it was 6/6/2026, which was crazy. A lot of sixes there. I just realized because today is 6/9, so haha, nice, right? Okay, yeah. What is Pete Aguilar doing? Okay, let's see. Have you heard that Ken Paxton owns did you hear that Ken Paxton owns defense attorney endorsed James Tallarico? Wow. Wow. Ken Paxton, isn't he a conservative? And James Tallarico, wow, own defense attorney. Okay. Endorsed James Tallarico. That's crazy. I haven't been paying attention to Tallarico ever since he popped off a while back. It seemed like he was gonna kind of fizzle out. I don't know. Seems like he hasn't. Um, but yeah. All right, let's get into this. Not News Nation. Let's start with NBC News.
Turning now to the moment when President Trump abruptly ended his exclusive interview with Meet the Press, as Kristen repeatedly pushed back on his false claims that the elections are rigged, including in California, where the votes are still being counted right now following last week's primaries. The winners have not yet been called in the race for governor or Los Angeles mayor. We should note California relies heavily on mail-in ballots, which contributes to the slow ballot counting. President Trump is using that to sow doubts about the results. He has repeatedly called the elections rigged on social media, including last night when he posted, quote, "Has anybody been watching the crooked election going on in California? Two great Republican candidates are being cheated, and so is America." The president's baseless claims about election fraud led to this heated exchange with Kristen. And we should note the interview, which was conducted on Friday, was interrupted multiple times by the sound of heavy rain. After 50 minutes, as you'll see, the president ended the interview.
Something else.
Listen to me.
Let's talk
There's
about Todd
tremendous evidence. There's nothing but
not been
evidence.
presented
The election
in a
was
court of
rigged.
law.
It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now in
You've never
California.
presented evidence
It's happening
that the
right now
2020
in
election was
California.
rigged.
Right now, look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California, it's no, they're not. They're dropping fast.
I kind of not low key. I really like how she grilled him on these questions, because this is how you should be grilling anyone who's making decisions during a wartime or whatever the hell's going on. He needs to be pressed.
Because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with
That's how they
it.
count
You know
the
why they're
votes in
doing that?
California.
Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all I
that?
have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not
and
evidence.
I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they
that
count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials
They're
acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into
That's
their hands with
crazy.
this.
I had no
you
idea
know
that you said that to her face.
that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never
Landslide.
presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections
You
in
were
this
supposed to
country were
cry in
like
there?
a
Yeah, he
third
sure
world
is.
country.
But, sir,
He's like, he didn't have all the spray tan on, his face would be cherry red right now. He's white person mad, you know what I mean?
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But, Mr.
You're
President-
one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President,
Darling.
let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat
I
in the
traveled
rain with
all
you.
the, I know. I
I've sat in the
traveled
rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your
Yeah,
press,
it is
because
an
you know what?
SNL skit,
Mr.
for
A
sure.
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a
all,
dishonest
listen,
press.
we
Come on, let's
traveled
go.
all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
We should note you can watch Kristen's full interview with the president and read the entire transcript online at NBCNews.com. NBC News senior reporter Jane Tim, who covers election administration issues, she joins me now. Thank you so much for joining us, Jane. I want you to walk us through where things stand with the ballot counting, and has there been any evidence of actual election fraud in California?
Hey, Mel. So we'll definitely just start there. There is no evidence of election fraud in California.
Love to hear it.
California is notoriously slow for their how they count elections.
Yeah.
They vote mostly by mail, as you said. And they also are a really, really big state with incredibly voter permissive policies. So if you mail your ballot before the election and it arrives a week late, as long as the postmark's there, it's still going to count. If your signature doesn't match, you have 22 days to fix it. The idea is that California has done these policies with voters' access in mind, trying to make it as easy as possible for voters to get their ballots counted. So those are some of
Okay. For the LA mayoral race, I had no idea that the progressive candidate was gonna do better than the Republican. That's crazy. But that's where we're at with these ballots, you know? Crazy. Donald Trump's like, they're nowhere near finished counting. Bro, literally, LA, the city of LA is 83% in. Weird. He's trying too hard.
the reasons why it takes so long to count ballots. But I do think the most important thing to remember here is that it's just a ginormous state. Los Angeles has more absentee ballots than the entire state of Florida did in their 2024 primary. So it's just a whole lot of ballots to count. And while this is all going on,
Maybe
there's a sort of a perfect storm
ratio
of
was
conditions
different.
that encouraged this and made this sort of more fertile ground for this kind of misinformation and Trump's what are routine election fraud claims just sort of take hold. Because while, we're used to the ballots taking a while in California and feeling really slow, we also had this really competitive governor's race where people were holding on to their ballots later than usual, not mailing them 2 weeks before election time, at which point election officials could have gotten a head start on processing those ballots. We had people holding onto them until the last day, dropping them off in drop boxes, so that there was so many ballots showing up on election night with a mountain of work for election officials to get through.
Those are such important points, Jane, especially the point about how this is actually not unusual for California, especially those of us who have covered these elections for a long time. We know it notoriously takes California a long time. But give us some context here about how typically long it does take to count ballots in California.
Yeah, so we actually dug back into the archives with the decision desk today, and we have a full screen we can put up here showing sort of how long we're used to these ballots taking, where it takes sometimes 10, maybe 20 days to count all of these ballots. They've made recent changes in the last few years to try and shorten this period, because I do think people want these results to come quicker. But with 80% of people voting by mail, it does take more time. And I think that in case people don't maybe understand why it takes more time, when people go to the polls in New York, I vote in person. So that means I go and I stand there and they check me in to see who I am, verify my identity in that way, and then I fill out my ballot and then I put it through the machine. That whole process is what takes more time if you're doing it by mail. So if you do it by mail, if I vote by mail in New York, they're going to verify my signature. This is how they do it in California too. They're going to make sure that I'm a registered voter, that I haven't moved or become ineligible in some way. And then they're going to verify a signature and make sure that matches with my signature on file. And then they're going to check the ballot.
I should probably check my ballot. Okay, I went to go vote in person, right? Even though I got the mail ballot, I got the mail ballot, and I was gonna do that one, but I was literally one of those people that was like, I don't know. This is so close for me. I really don't know who to pick in some of the races, right? It was really, especially the governor race. Um, For the governor, I was really like I had no idea who to vote for. Um, uh, Personally, I was struggling between like the Tom Steyer fans in the chat, don't hate me. I didn't want to vote for Tom Steyer, right? And honestly, I did not vote for Tom Steyer. First, like when the election started, I was like, okay, there's a lot of people here. Let's see how it goes. My original guy, my original horse in the race was Javier Becerra. But then I didn't like how he got all the Eric Swalwell support. You're crooked and your YouTube channel is crooked and yeah, I know. I'm sorry. This is my opinion. So, but yeah, I was originally Becerra. I was in my Becerra era, as everyone was saying. Goddamn. And he was my first pick. But then, like I said, all of the stuff coming out, and it's gonna sound super shallow, but I didn't like how during the primary he did not have a favorite TV show. And I was like, brother, that's politics 101. That's winning people over 101. And and then we saw the clip come out later of him being mean to the one journalist. I forget what her name was, but he was all like, "This is a puff piece, right? It's not a gotcha piece. It's a puff piece, or a profile, right?" And I was like, damn, Becerra, you're really, I took the glasses off and I was like, man, this is just another dude. This is just another man who feels like because he was in because he served his time in politics, right? That he is entitled essentially to become the governor. He is definitely one of those Democrats that was like, I served my time. I've supported so many people. I mean, he's been doing all the right moves. He's been taking the fall for people. I would say big L he took that Becerra took was for Biden and the Biden Harris administration and the kids in cages thing. That Becerra cannot shake that. He cannot explain that away, and it looks really bad. But anyways, so after Becerra, it was between it was between Tom Steyer and Unfortunately, some people might laugh at me, but Katie Porter. And I ended up casting my primary vote for governor for Katie Porter. No lie, no cap, no, I was like, this is a primary first and foremost, right? So we're supposed to, as voters, we're supposed to pick the candidate that we best think can do this job, right? Um, part of the reason why I also delayed my vote was because I didn't know how serious the Republicans were in this, right? The Republicans were, or I should say the media in general was like overplaying this idea that it would the jungle California jungle primary would produce 2 Republicans and then we would be all SOL and then we would have no Democratic governor, a chance of a Democratic governor. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. We'll look into Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton, but it sounds like there's some fighting there. Like Chad Bianco's still going to run, even though Steve Hilton is the clear winner of his party. But I don't know. So anyways, it's been like, for me personally, I was like, man, I'm going to vote Porter. Literally the only bad thing that she has against her is that she yelled at her staffer. What else was bad about Porter? And I really am disappointed in people like Hassan Piker. I'm calling out Hassan Piker. Wee woo wee woo. Cancel me. I'm a ex Hassan fan now. No, I'm just kidding. Hassan Piker was like, Katie Porter's a meme, And honestly, it was kind of a moment, and please bear with me. It was kind of a moment where it's like, damn, America just the standard for women really the bar is set a lot higher, or I should say, yeah, the bar is set a lot higher for women in any career field, right? In any career field, women have to work twice as hard and look twice as good doing it. Like literally, Antonio Villaraigosa was on the stage right next to her, and he had so many scandals, right? But he was still on stage. Antonio Villaraigosa had so much like dirty laundry, skeletons in the closet, right? But we were all okay with that. He was up there on the yeah, sure, he wasn't doing as good as anyone else, but he was up there on the stage, just as viable as anyone else, right? Having the same chance to voice his opinion, to try to win over our votes as anyone else. And we were going to be okay with Eric Swalwell in that position too, had all of the ladies that came forward did in such the way that they did, that Eric had to drop out because he was going to be on that stage too. And this is I'm working on something a article on the side, right, about the gubernatorial election, because it seems like it really is just going to be Becerra as the Democratic nominee. I don't know. Like I said, we'll look into Steyer, but it doesn't seem it's not clear as it is with Becerra, right? I really, it's like we're gonna have to figure it out. But yeah, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but whatever. Let's continue watching this. Y'all got the DL on my personal politics, and my personal thoughts, but so like I said, there's stuff coming out in the future to really explain more of my point of view if you're interested in that. But yeah, let's get back to this video and looking into other stuff too.
And run it through the tabulator. So that's why it takes more time for election officials to actually go through this.
And Jane, a federal prosecutor in California says his office has opened multiple investigations of California elections. What are those investigators actually looking for? Do we know why they opened these investigations? And what is the status of those probes?
Yeah, so I reached out to that office today to sort of ask some more questions and got a pretty curt response that I'm on the mailing list and they would let me know. I was particularly interested to know why we know about these investigations, because the Department of Justice policy, of course, is that we don't, inform people of ongoing investigations, that it's, you usually hear about an investigation when charges maybe are brought or they find something wrong. But for now, they are not commenting on that. But we also know that Department of Justice office, that U.S. Attorney's Office, did debunk one of the most popular conspiracy theories about this election, the idea that there was a vote total upload that included no votes for Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles. We know that vote update was split into two by the Associated Press, I think, and that is why it sort of looked a little funny for about a minute online, and people are just so closely watching this that they found that suspicious. But again, this is just the way California counts their elections, and it sure feels slow, but it is how it is right now.
Jane, thank you for that incredibly important context and reporting. As for those undecided races in California, where the top two finishers will advance to the general election, Republican Steve Hilton, who was endorsed by President Trump, is now in second place.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so he overtook Steyer. Votes count in 72%. Yeah. See, I mean, that's great. So like part of the thing now that my question to Becerra is how do you win over the Steyer voters, right? Legosor Superior, if you're still in here, Steyer voters in the chat, Steyer supporters in the chat. What does Becerra need to do to win your vote? To vote so that way, what does Becerra need to do so that way you'll vote for him in the general election?
In the race for governor, Democrat Javier Becerra has already advanced to the November general election. And in the race for mayor of Los Angeles, city council member and Democrat Nithya Raman now leads Republican reality TV star Spencer Pratt for second place. Incumbent Mayor Karen Bass has already advanced to November. Steve Kornacki is tracking it all and joins us now from the big board. Steve, so where do things stand in these key California races, both the race for governor and the race for Los Angeles mayor?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you're talking about, the ballots are still being tabulated here, and there are still quite a few of them left here. Not quite 3/4 of the expected vote tallied statewide in that governor's race. But again, we've already projected Javier Becerra will be one of the two finalists here in the general election in the race for governor. And there is the difference between the leading Republican, Steve Hilton, and the other leading Democrat, Tom Steyer. You can see there a difference of about 300,000 votes, again, with more to come. But what we've been seeing over the last couple of days here, as these updates have been coming in from around the state, Steyer has not been closing the gap at the rate he wants to be doing it. It has been getting tighter between him and Hilton, but so far it's not been getting tighter at the pace Steyer would need it to overtake him with a number of ballots that are left right here. So again, that's another one of these features here, talking about these late counted ballots, these late arriving vote by mail ballots that can come in up to a week after Election Day. Something we've been seeing here, something we are accustomed to seeing in California, is those votes tend to be very, very Democratic friendly votes here. And so that's one of the reasons we sort of expected that both Becerra and Steyer would improve their position as more votes have been counted. That indeed is what's happened. Becerra cementing the top spot right here. Steyer moving up on Hilton. But again, he has not been moving up on him at the pace he needs to if he's going to overtake him. So the possibility here that you will have a Democrat and a Republican as the two candidates in the general election here in the race for governor of California, certainly extremely, it's a lot more likely I think that's going to happen than you're going to have two Democrats right there. In the mayor's race, again, you mentioned it there, the big development again, these late counted, late arriving vote by mail ballots being so overwhelmingly Democratic. We have seen the two Democrats here now cement to take these lead. Karen Bass has cemented her lead here. The incumbent mayor, she'll be one of the two finalists, and Nithya Raman moving up very dramatically in the last 3 or 4 days here to overtake Spencer Pratt there for second place. Again, about 83% we think of the expected vote in L.A. But again, just the way these updates have been coming, as overwhelmingly Democratic as they've been, there's no indication that momentum for Raman is going to stop and that she's not going to continue to increase that margin there over Pratt, potentially setting up a Bass-Raman general election in the race for mayor.
And Steve, compare for me how long it's taken to count ballots in California versus some other states.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like anytime it gets close in any race in California, since they've gone to the system, you're looking at days, you're looking at weeks. Just give you a sense here, though, the other two largest states, Texas and Florida, looking in March, Texas had its statewide primary. We're looking here, time to get 3/4 of the vote. How long does it take to get 3/4 of the statewide vote reported out, available to the public in Texas and March?
Watch something else. It's stupid, Ben Shapiro. Oh, an hour, brother? No. Okay, here, let's see.
First off, it's been announced that the federal government is investigating potential fraud into the election process. How's this going so far?
Yeah, I mean, we have multiple investigations open into potential fraud having to do with the election, the ballots, registrations, etc. We announced one case a month ago of a lady that was registering homeless people to vote and paying them to sign false information on voter registration forms. She's since been charged and pled guilty. We have other active investigations ongoing. We can't discuss the specifics of them. But in addition to that, we've called on the state of California to open up their voter rolls. There's a lot of distrust in the way California holds elections, and we believe the best way to handle that is through transparency and through complying with federal law by allowing the federal government to audit the rolls of California.
LA County Registrar, I mean, hearing from them, they're basically saying that everything's clean and there's no evidence of any widespread fraud.
Well, how would he know? He has no idea. California has made it basically open to anybody registered to vote. They're not going to check your citizenship. You can register with a gym card. No one thinks that's a legitimate way to determine that only U.S. qualified citizens are voting. They have dirty rolls. They're not cleaning them up. You have dead people getting ballots. You have people who've moved getting ballots. And then they have universal vote by mail, so they mail millions of ballots. And then you have ballot harvesting. So you have no idea who's receiving the ballot, filling the ballot out, and returning.
Oh, bro, this guy said, yeah, you can register to vote with a gym card. I don't think it's that simple. He's ridiculous, bro. That's all you need. You're like, here, I was born in the United States. Here's my Planet Fitness membership. What the fuck? No, it's so much more than that. Jesus. Ballot harvesting, bro. Oh my God. Like, people are voting twice? No. These people, man. A U.S. Attorney, Bill Esseley. This is what this guy's name is.
So the ROV, with all due respect, he has no idea what the hell's going on. He has no idea. All he knows, he's getting ballots in the mail and he's counting them. For him to say that there's no fraud, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
So is it more of a frustration with the overall voting system in California?
Well, I think the system is what opens the door for fraud. I mean, when you have a system, you want people to have confidence and faith in the system. If you were designing an election system and you want people to have faith in it, you would do everything opposite of what California does. Most states do not allow what California does. Most states, it is illegal to ballot harvest. So we have a crisis credibility in our election system in California. We think the best way to deal with that is with an audit. Let us see the voter rolls and let us help California.
Bashona in a box said, I freaking hate all this voter fraud BS. Yeah, it's clear that the only reason they're focusing on that is because that's the only way that they can actually get in office. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, maybe we have to actually read some stuff, but oh no, even Glenn Beck is talking about about voter fraud. That's crazy. Yep, he's still around. Department of Justice says will investigate California voting. That's crazy. Crazy. I didn't know it was this bad.
I'm very pleased to say that we remain confident that I will make it into the top two.
Whoa,
that Californians will have a real choice for change in November, whether they want to keep going with the policies that have brought us the highest poverty rate, the highest unemployment rate, the highest cost of living in the country, whether they want more of that with Javier Becerra, or whether they want to go in a new direction. We're confident that Californians will have that change, that choice for change in November, but we're not declaring victory yet. In this campaign, as I pointed out last night, we always had a policy that we would wait.
That lady's smile is ginormous.
The official call of the race from the AP. That's what we're waiting for.
Michonne in a box said the votes, quote unquote, the votes are only real when they vote for me and not my opponent. Yes, that's exactly this line of.
For your ballot to get there. That's the theory. But when you look at the detail of the law, They have absolutely no focus on verifying that you did actually vote by election day. If we had voter ID, we wouldn't need all this endless checking of signatures and verification, all the things that they say take all this time. If we had voter ID, we could get this done quickly, confidently, securely.
Okay, voter ID. So that's his case for the SAVE Act. Okay. NBC Montana covering the California gubernatorial race. That's crazy. All right. Let me pull up Cal Matters here. Okay. So the lady, well, actually, let's see. This is Cal Matters on the election. So yeah, Javier Becerra's advancing. Oh, but that was from the 5th. Okay, so there really hasn't been any updates then. Damn. Cause June 3rd, election denier likely loses job in Shasta County, but voters back hand counting ballots. Wow. Um. All right. Okay. Let's read the most latest article then by Jeannie Kwong. Okay. Democrat Javier Becerra advances to November race for California governor. And this came out June 5th. So, man, there really hasn't been any news. Okay. Democrat Javier Becerra will advance to the November general election in the race for California governor, capping a sudden and dramatic ascent for a career politician who is running on his experience and his willingness to take on President Donald Trump. Becerra, the former state attorney general, has secured nearly 27% of the vote in the June 2nd primary, with about 2/3 of votes counted by the time Associated Press made the call on Friday afternoon. If elected in November, he would be the first Latino to serve as California governor in more than a century and the first to win the seat via election. Latino to serve as California governor. Bro, no, are they talking about the governors of before California was even part of America? Like it was the why would we go back and make this comparison? He would be the first Latino to serve as California governor in more than a century. Bro, a century ago. Okay, a century ago, like that's when California first became a state, right? And was there only Latinos here? That's crazy. I don't know. Okay, we need to we need to fact check this. Okay. It is still unclear who his opponent will be. Returns so far show Republican Steve Hilton will likely advance with more than 26% of the votes, though the trailing Democrat Tom Steyer is at 21% and could make up ground in more than the 3 million votes that remain to be counted. Many Democratic voters held onto their ballots until the last minute, meaning the uncounted votes skew more Democratic. California uses a top two primary system. The two candidates with the most votes advance to the November ballot, regardless of party. The November race could differ dramatically depending on the opponent. If it is Hilton, Becerra would be heavily favored to win. Democrats in California outnumber Republicans. Yes, I know. And Hilton is endorsed by Trump, who Californians disapprove of in high numbers. If it is Steyer, California can expect an all-out slugfest between opposing wings of the Democratic Party, supercharged by the hundreds of millions of dollars Steyer has spent from his personal fortune on the primary alone. Exactly. I don't know if Steyer's going to make it. Let me go to New York Times, I think. Oh my God, of course it's paywalled. Oh, nope. Yeah, it's paywalled. All right, whatever. While the hedge fund manager turned Democratic donor and climate activist has run a progressive campaign and garnered the support of Bernie Sanders surrogates, Becerra is favored by more of the Democratic establishment. He also received consequential endorsements and funding from labor and industry groups. Becerra, who had lingered in the single digits in polling, surged in popularity following the political implosion of former frontrunner Eric Swalwell, with establishment Democrats favoring the former Health and Human Service Secretary and former state attorney general over former Representative Katie Porter and the outsider Steyer. It was a surprising and swift ascent for the mild-mannered career politician who was previously part of a crop of lower polling Democratic candidates that party chair Rusty Hicks was publicly pressuring to drop out of the race. Yeah, which was crazy too. We covered that on this broadcast, you know. Becerra called out the putting Matt Mahan in, which really had they not pushed for this nobody, this Matt Mahan who didn't even make it past anything, had they not pushed to put him into that debate, Becerra wouldn't have done all of that. Oh, they're being racist by excluding all the candidates of color, when literally he did not give a two shits about the other two candidates. But yeah, so yeah, Matt Mahan came in. Becerra made that call out to the Democratic establishment and USC for not doing the primaries, for having weird rules for qualifying for the debate. And then, Eric Swalwell got exposed and canceled. And yes, this is where we're at now with Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer. Not Tom Steyer, Steve Hilton. I don't know, man. Tom Steyer he still feels icky to me. I can't explain it. Guess what? The underdog stayed in the fight, Becerra said at an election night rally Tuesday in Los Angeles, calling his near victory the everyday miracle of living in a state that regularly makes the improbable seem inevitable. Oh, mark those words. Mark those words. Becerra makes the improbable seem inevitable. Yeah. All right. The decision comes at a particularly consequential time in California. Residents face a crushing cost of living, nation-topping gas prices made worse by the war in Iran, wildfire risk that have driven insurance companies out of the state, and an unstable state budget, impending federal cuts to the state's expensive health system, and an economy dampened by immigrant enforcement. Becerra so far has not proposed major policy departures from Newsom's 2 terms in office. He has said to address the state's affordability crisis, he would call a state of emergency to freeze utility and home insurance rates, to examine why they're rising, to enforce current housing law, to ensure local governments are planning for new construction. Like other California Democrats, he has also signaled a willingness to slow down on the state's greenhouse gas reduction mandates and transition to clean energy in order to keep gas prices affordable. The son of Mexican immigrants who grew up in Sacramento, Becerra got his start in the 90s, winning a Los Angeles area state legislative seat as a young lawyer and getting elected to Congress 2 years later. He held that seat for 24 years until he was appointed California's Attorney General in 2017 during the first Trump administration. After that, he served as health secretary during Biden's administration. He was dogged. Yeah, I think that says dodged. He was dogged on the primary campaign trail by criticism of his time in the administration. Some Democratic leaders resurfaced complaints about his leadership during the pandemic, while opponents in the primary repeatedly pointed to his agency's vetting of homes for a surge of migrant children who were later found to be working dangerous or exploitive jobs. Steyer, in particular, also highlighted how a variety of corporations and special interests surged donations to boost Becerra's campaign in the final weeks of the race. Hilton, capitalizing on Republican frustrations with the state's high cost of regulations, has portrayed Becerra as a symbol of the status quo under Newsom. Becerra has not proposed major policy departures from Newsom, and once said during a debate that he would grade Newsom A for effort on homelessness. Yeah, that was a lie. The great A for effort on homelessness was just him trying to appease Newsom. Okay. But Becerra overcame most of the attacks primarily by pointing to his long term experience in government and his years of lawsuits against Trump when he was Attorney General. You can have these great inflated promises, he said of critics like Steyer this week, but delivery is more important. I mean, I can't disagree with that. Actions over promises. I don't know, and that's where I personally could not get behind Steyer. I was like, I'm sorry, this is just too much of a gamble. I don't know you. I never knew you. I knew when you ran for president in 2020, which was 2020, which was really weird, by the way, brother, because he ran it the same way he ran this governor election. Um, yeah, it's just you ain't Becerra, like he has that political history. One of my key things for going for Becerra early on in the primaries um was that he's a politician. He is moldable. He will fold if enough people call him out. And that's what I want in a politician. I don't want a politician that thinks he's self-righteous and that it's his way or the highway, right? I want someone that shares my values, but I don't want someone who's not going to listen to people calling them out, right? If it's enough people calling them out and they're not going to listen, I don't want that. So I think, that's a big carrying a lot of weight there. I think Becerra is a multiple politician, and that's what I want. I want a politician that I can have beef with. Not have beef with, but be able to call out, and someone who's worried about being called out. There's a lot of people in politics who do not care about being called out, and that's kind of bad. Because they just think that they have this mandate to do whatever they want because they're righteous and whatnot, right? All right. Okay, let's Inland Empire. Let oh okay, hold on. I just want to see election results. Other statewide offices. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay, 83% of the votes are in for Attorney General. I voted for Rob Bonta. I personally had no qualms with him. I think he works great with Newsom. I think he has a lot of, he's fought for IE residents in terms of warehouses. So I voted for him. The all party controller, Cohen one. I didn't even remember paying attention in that, honestly. Okay, and then insurance commissioner. I did not look into this at all. I don't even remember who I voted for. I don't even know if I did vote on this. I'm sorry, I'm being real. Okay. Lieutenant governor. Lieutenant governor, I voted for Oliver Ma. And man, he only got 7.1%. Fiona Ma got 19. Okay, so people were more confused about this with this than they were with governor. All right, Secretary of State. I voted for the Democrat. Seems like they're winning. Okay, here we go. Superintendent of Public Instruction. This Sonja Shaw is crazy, bro. She's straight up there with Candy Olson. She is a right winger. So that's crazy that this race went. We should have done more. Um, like I feel like no one was paying attention to this, especially myself. I should have done more to pay attention to this. And I didn't. And we should be very concerned about this. Because I keep calling her Sonja, but her name is Sonia Shaw. She is conservative. She is alt right. Okay, yeah, she's from Chino Valley. Um, yeah, all opinions are my own. Oh my god, like she went to go see. So stupid. Is that really Tom Cruise or a fake Tom Cruise? What is this? That's got to be a fake Tom Cruise. That's so cringe. Yeah, that's a fake Tom Cruise. Right, chat? This is not the real Tom Cruise. He's too tall. He's too tall to be the real Tom Cruise. That's so cringe. Okay. Oh, she said America turns 250 and across the nation parents are rising, not for politics, for kids, reading, writing, math, civics. A generation of families refuse to accept failures as the future. This is our moment. All hands on deck. Linked arms. Join us. Show Shaw for California. And she got freaking a drag queen team. You got a little, drag Tom Cruise. Damn, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, I think people in the comments think that's actually Tom Cruise. Okay, okay. See, look, Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty. All right. Okay. So now you know. So she's gonna be. That's crazy, and it's like had people been more aware, they could have chose someone else. Like I don't know any of these other candidates. Oh, Bashana in a box said that is not Tom Cruise. Yeah. All right. So the treasurer, I voted for the Democrat. Looks like they're winning. All right. Nope, not gonna look at whatever these are. All right. So the California House non-part. Oh, that's right. James Gallagher won that. Okay. California State Senate. Oh, wait. Hold on. I don't know what districts. District 6, 8, 12. Okay, here we go. 18. Nope. Jim Costa. Okay, here we go. I don't think we're in District 26. District 27. Okay, here we go. District 28, I think. 29. There was only one person in District 30. Okay, so these are the people going off into the runoffs, or I mean, into the general election. Okay. Ken Calvert won. Crazy. Maxine Waters. Lou Correa. Okay. Scott Peters. Okay. All right, let's continue. See what else. The state senate. Okay, hold on. Okay. Steve Padilla, Susan. Let's see. District 26. Oh, that's cool. They had 2 Democrats make it past the primary. Okay. District 40. District 36. All right. Nope. State Assembly. Ugh, man. Nah, let's skip the Assembly. And that's it. Damn. Okay. We need to go to San Bernardino County. Results. All right. Let's see. Final certified election results. Is it done? Okay. Next update, final posting. Okay, so it looks like oh, this is a 2024. Hold on. Okay. Report number 8. Is this the last one? Voters cast. Okay. Turnout. Okay. Okay, so if this is a final report, we had 32% voter turnout, which is better than expected. Okay. Yeah, Prinksy. Okay, 100%. All right, so this should be the final. Okay. So yeah, 32%, 32.13% voter turnout in San Bernardino County, which is pretty good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. But I mean, okay, whatever. All right. So, let's see. We don't need to go through governor or lieutenant governor, secretary of state. Insurance commissioner, board of equalization. All right. U.S. representative, district 35. Okay, Norma Torres won. Like really good with 60%. District 18, 22. Assembly. San Bernardino County Court of Superior Judges, Superintendent of Public Instruction. Okay, here we go. San Bernardino County Board of Supervisor, District 2. Finally. We got, dang, Jesse Armendariz won with 57%. And then the other Jesse Sandoval won with 24%. Joe Alvarez got 17%. That's still really good, brother. That's really, really good. He got 13,000 votes. Bro, Jesse Armendariz just got all those votes because he put his name everywhere. All right. That's really good. Okay, and then let's see. District 4. Oof, it was close with Kurt Hagman and Christina Gagnier, I think. I don't know. Whatever. Kurt won with 55%. Not as good as Jesse Armendariz, but yeah. All right. San Bernardino County Assessor / Recorder, Josie Gonzalez won. There was no one else running against her. County auditor, controller, tax collector. That was the big thing. Oof. Oof. It looks like Ensign Mason is out of a job. That's crazy. I don't know why the county board of supervisors wanted to get rid of him, but they wanted to get rid of him, and boy oh boy did they. They I think they even had plans if he won his election, they were just gonna try to fire him anyways. I don't know how, but they were gonna try to do that. But Ryan Hutchinson won with 57% of the vote. Okay, district attorney, county sheriff, coroner, public. Yeah. So Shannon Discus won. I mean Dickus, whatever the heck his name is. Okay, city of Loma Linda. Okay, we did not look into the Loma Linda city elections. Okay, city of San Bernardino. Very, very happy that Mayor Helen Tran won with 54% of the vote. That's freaking amazing. So yeah, shout out to Helen Tran. Come on the stream, Mayor Tran. I want to interview you on the stream. Please answer my DMs on Instagram. Um okay. So then the city council ward 1, it looks like Theodore Sanchez gone. Theodore Sanchez is out. He got 24%. Only 555 people voted for him. It looks like city council is going to be Virginia Marquez. Wow. But Ron Alvarado was a close behind her. Okay, let's see. Ward 2. Who won? Christian Shaughnessy? Whatever. Shaughnessy? Christian Shaughnessy won with 39% of the vote. Sandra Ibarra, who was the incumbent, now I can say it, I never liked her. I never liked her. I'm glad she's out. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Okay, she won only 600 people voted for her. All right, Ward 4 of San Bernardino City. Okay, let's see who won. 38%. Joe Salas. That's amazing. Fred Shorett kicked out. Fred Shorett, incumbent, is gone. He was second most voted for, but man, that's crazy. Okay. I don't know what Measure X was. We ignored that. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's crazy. All right, let's Riverside. Here we go. Riverside County Registrar of Voters, please let this be. Okay. Yes. Yes, 100%. Oh my god, of course. Of course Riverside County does their things similar to San Bernardino County. Blessings. Okay. All right, let's skip back all of that. Even though we could compare between, but I don't care right now. I just want to see county and city. All right. County superintendent of schools. Nope. Next. County supervisor. Okay. The incumbent was Karen Spiegel. She won 76%. Damn. She won. People hated her. Okay, but I don't know anything about her opponent. We did not know anything about that. Okay, county supervisor, 4th district. I believe the incumbent was Manny Perez, but I'm not sure. But he won against Steve Sanchez. Okay, 5th district. That was Christian. I know, or whatever the heck his name is. He was running unopposed. And there was people that actually did write-ins. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Someone voted for themselves. How do I know this? Because it's only one write-in. Someone really voted for themselves. Hilarious. Okay. Auditor, controller. Nope. Tax collector. Okay. Here we go. City Council, Ward 2. This is the one we interviewed, Gracie Torres. This is the Ward 2 was the ward being left open by what's her name? Clarissa Cervantes. We had Gracie Torres on the stream, and I am proud to say it seems like she won, bro. She got 37% of the vote. 1,522 votes. The next person was 1,306. That's crazy. That was a close race. But she won. That's great. That's really great. Awesome. Okay, Riverside City Council Ward 4. I don't remember who the incumbent was, but maybe it was Chuck Conder. But I was trying to get Jessica Quatati on the stream, but we did not line up properly. She lost, unfortunately, but she still got out there, got a significant amount of people to vote for her. Okay. Riverside City Council Ward 6. I don't remember who the incumbent. I don't think there was an incumbent. Luis Hernandez, tried to get him on stream. It didn't line up either, but it looks like he won. That's great. 47%. Okay, Measure B, that's Parish. Here we go. Measure Z. I'm so excited to know about Measure Z. That to me was a really interesting measure to put on there, and it just to remind everyone. Measure Z was to vote yes was to increase taxes to go straight into the general fund, but it was primarily to be used for firefighters, right? Gracie Torres herself said on stream, if she is running alongside support of Measure Z. If she doesn't win, she suspected that Measure Z likely would not pass either. So let's just keep that in mind. All right, so let's see. Measure Z. Oh my God, 58% said no. 41% said yes. That's crazy. So Measure Z did not pass. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because we were expecting it to go. Gracie Torres herself was like, if Measure Z doesn't go, then I'm not going to go. But she won her seat. No, not county supervisor. Ward 2, 37%. Crazy. Good for her. Shout out Gracie Torres, actual friend of the show. Yeah, that's crazy. Measure Z, man. A lot of people, like at least 5,000 people tipped it over to say no. Wow. That's crazy. Okay, cool. Did Tom Steyer concede yet? I don't think so. Let's see.
It is official. Incumbent LA Mayor Karen Bass and City Councilwoman Nithya Raman will face off in the general election come November. Good evening once again. I'm Jonathan Gonzalez.
And I'm Annabelle Sedano. Michael and Colleen are off today. The updated numbers were released about an hour ago. Raman was able to clinch the #2 spot after she picked up over 28% of those votes. Pratt trailing in third with 25% of the vote. And shortly after the results came down, a statement from Bass's re-election campaign was released. It says, quote, a campaign against Nithya Raman, who allows encampments near schools and cuts the police force, is one Mayor Karen Bass looks forward to winning.
Meanwhile, Nithya Raman also released a statement earlier that reads in part, for too long, City Hall has prioritized giving political advantage to powerful interests that fund elections. If you are as frustrated by the broken status quo as I am, I hope you'll join our movement to build a city that works for everyone.
Our chief political reporter, Conan Nolan, joins us in studio. Okay, so Conan, let's talk about this. Are these results a surprise, or do they align with what polling was suggesting?
Well, actually, they do. They align with the polling that we saw from the LA Times and the Institute of Governmental Studies. And yes, on Election Day, he had an 8-point lead, but that was with most of the ballots still yet to be counted. Those were overwhelmingly blue ballots from Democrats who voted late. Nithya Raman, progressive, and every time there was a vote drop, she cut into his lead substantially. Yesterday, she took the lead, and today we expected they would call the race, and now she's up by 20,000 votes. So is it likely that he's going to make his way back into that slot? No, it's not, which is why the NBC desk has called it. This is a very interesting race going into the fall. Karen Bass, I'm sure, would much rather have Spencer Pratt as an opponent in November than Nithya Raman. It's going to be dicey for her.
What do you think we'll hear from Spencer Pratt? I'm monitoring social media. He hasn't posted. Yesterday, he kind of, I don't know, I want to say implied that homeless people were voting, that was making up the vote difference. But today, he kind of took a different tone.
What?
Yeah, he said...
Wait, he said homeless people voting were making up... He needs to move out of California. Move out of California, bro. You're ridiculous.
Yesterday, he kind of, I don't know, I want to say implied that homeless people were voting, that was making up the vote difference. But today, he kind of took a different tone.
Yeah, he said, everybody relax. There's lots of votes still to be counted. A very mature way of looking at this.
Hey, DV8, Karen Bass, as you're wearing your Bass Pro Shop hat. Heck yeah. Thank you. I didn't even realize it. I was just so excited to wear my new Bass Pro hat, Bass Pro Shop Marlboro edition. Marlboro Red. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Karen Bass, man, crazy. It's good to see you back, DV8.
Yes, I'm not so sure as if he wants to read from the Donald Trump hymnal about voter fraud. Donald Trump has said, and he posted on social media, that it was impossible for Nithya Raman to gain the votes that she did. Well, no, it's not. This is how we vote in California. He clearly doesn't understand that. But I don't know if Spencer Pratt wants to go down that road. I think he does want to maintain the position of being the agitator over how the city has responded to the fires and let the fire took place, in his view. But it's yet to be seen whether or not he's going to try to raise the pitchforks and head to City Hall that this is a fraud the way Donald Trump. And I have to point out that Steve Hilton, we'll talk about the governor's race in a second, he hasn't said there's any fraud. Mike Johnson in the House of Representatives, he thinks California is dopey for the way we do things here, but he hasn't suggested there's fraud. So
well, that's good to know.
So I'm not, it's an interesting question.
Looking ahead to November, let's talk about the campaigns here. Nithya Raman.
Oh my God, this is where they count the ballots. That's crazy. It looks like the DMV. I'm not going to lie. It looks very DMV coded.
Karen Bass, what are they going to have to do in order to appeal to the voter?
Surprisingly, Karen Bass is now the conservative in the race. It was not going to be Spencer Pratt. And
Karen Bass is the conservative in the race. That's right, brother. I'm conservative now.
What we're looking at in the fall is something that we're seeing throughout the country, particularly with the Democratic Party. First of all, a generational divide. She is nearly 30 years Karen Bass's junior. She's part of that, the young, progressive element, AOC.
Is she going to be the new Mamdani? Is she going to be LA's Mamdani? That's crazy. I think she was on Hassan's stream. We should watch it. I honestly didn't think she was going to make it.
Cortez, for example, is sort of emblematic of it. They want the old guard to move aside, and we have a different approach to the way things are done. She is somewhat anti-establishment when it comes to organized labor. In her statement, there was a swipe at the people that fund campaigns. That's LA Federation of Labor. She's not anti-union, but she represents a younger constituent, a more liberal constituency that wants change, wants real hard development. They want housing built, and they want public transportation. It's a different. It's a different vision for the city than what they think the establishment's giving them.
One-time allies and now opponents. We want to talk about the race for governor going in quickly. Steve Hilton and Javier Becerra remaining the top two here. Becerra gaining, he's about, I think, 200,000 or so, just above Hilton. How come this race hasn't been called? I thought this would be called first.
Well, it's still close enough, and we're looking at statewide numbers here. Hilton has lost a little bit of his lead. He's still, 200,000 votes ahead. Steyer needs more support out of
I like Deviate said, I like how people say we are a progressive state, but we are just as much at risk from being taken over by a fascist. That's so true. If Steve Hilton becomes governor, what's going to stop Donald Trump from sending ICE to go into everyone's house? It's not going to be Steve Hilton. I'll tell you that much.
Of LA and San Francisco. The rest of the Central Valley and Sacramento and the rest of the state is doing very well for Steve Hilton and Javier Becerra. So does Steyer have the wherewithal? It looks like he doesn't, because he needs to be gaining votes at a much higher clip with each drop than he has been. So it looks like it's going to be Hilton, but it's still too close to call.
Gosh, there's so much more that we want to discuss with you.
Yeah, no, we got time. Right. There's going to be more vote totals coming in.
Absolutely. Connie, thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on to some other big news here. Let's take you inside the room where the counting happens. Here's a live look at the ballot processing center in the City of Industry. Currently, there are several investigations into this election after President Trump's unfounded claims of election fraud.
Let's get right to NBC4's Karma Dickerson. She continues our Decision 2026 coverage from inside that ballot processing center. Karma.
Well, her name is
Yes,
Karma.
we're talking about maybe after 6 days now, finally some clarity on one of those key races, the LA mayor's race. Nevertheless, the vote count continues here. More than 148,000 votes to go.
November's general election will be a showdown at LA City Hall. An incumbent mayor versus a sitting city council member.
Bro,
with
I
the
love
Monday
City
evening
Hall.
vote count
Sorry,
update.
this is me fangirling over Los Angeles City Hall. I love this building so much. I hope everyone's day gets better. My day just got a lot better with all of the friends with the gangs all here. I'm sorry. No. Yeah, so we'll get through it today. It's summertime. But yeah, the gang's all here. Okay, sorry. LA City Hall. I love this building so much. I went like sorry, but shown it in a box. But yeah, I love City Hall.
Will be a showdown at LA City Hall. An incumbent mayor versus a sitting city council member. With the Monday evening vote count update from the LA County Registrar, mayoral candidate Nithya Raman moves solidly into second place. The council member expanding her lead over Spencer Pratt to about 22,000 votes and trailing Mayor Karen Bass by about 46,000. NBC now predicting Raman will advance to the November general election, where she will face Bass. Raman today releasing a statement saying, "I'm incredibly honored that voters have given us the opportunity to advance to the general election for mayor of Los Angeles. Now our fight for a healthier, safer, more affordable, and more joyful Los Angeles continues." But the ballot count isn't over. Ballots that were mailed or dropped off as opposed to cast in person require a specific and more extensive verification process.
Late Tuesday night, we had 500,000 ballots that descended upon us that have to go through that process. We need to be able to account for those, and we need to be sure that those votes are counted correctly.
Look at what's happening in California.
To that?
It's
the
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can't get into that right now. So like I want to know is okay, elections in November, right? So is there going to be a debate between Steve Hilton and Javier Becerra? Cuz that's what I'm here for that. That's going to be like Logan Paul versus KSI. I don't know any of these people. Sorry, I'm stupid. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're going to wait till every ballot is counted. We're going to give democracy a time to work, and we know we finished really strong. Here's the truth. For every bill that's too high, there's a special interest profiting off keeping it there. They want you to believe that's inevitable. It's just how the market works. But that's bullshit. We don't have to accept this. This campaign has been about proving that. Money from some of the wealthiest people and corporations in the history of the world mobilized when I said I tax it fairly. We saw a direct causal relationship between my plan for change and the 55.
Okay, sorry. Let's go to this. Let's go to one of my new favorite YouTube channels, Breaking Points. Deviate said, "Look at Tom. I don't know, man. He's not."
All right, it's primary day. We have elections in New Jersey, South
There you go.
Dakota.
Oh my God, yes, the GOAT, Ryan Grimm.
Montana, New Mexico, but people care about California. Half our audience out in California.
Yes, big chunk on it.
And we have Californian Dave Dayen in the studio today. Welcome to Washington, D.C.
Thank you. How's it
Good to see
going?
you, man.
Lovely weather, right? We're treating you
doing well.
like a Californian here.
Doing
This is
all
nice
right.
today.
Yeah.
He's got no tie on, very California.
Very California.
Yeah.
Well, we can allow it for a California.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Eyes are
showing
a
it.
construct.
That's true. All right, so we've got the LA mayor's race, we've got the California governor's race, we've got a bunch of interesting House races among Democrats. Saga and I were just talking about how it's interesting. There
Oh yeah.
virtually no.
I say Ryan Grimm is friend of the show. Ryan Grimm. You know who introduced me to Ryan Grimm? It was Hassan Hassanabi Piker. Ryan Grimm came on Hassan's, Ryan Grimm was one of the only journalists, quote unquote journalists, that went on Hassan's stream way back in 2018, 2019, 2020. And now it's crazy to see that all these legitimate journalists, from NBC, ABC, 60 Minutes, I don't know. All of these people are trying to do the online thing now. And it's man, mad respect for Ryan Grimm. He saw what Hassan was doing, saw that this is where it was going, and was like, yep, I'm going to put myself out there. And, now he has his own drop site news, no longer on the Intercept or whatever it was called, or whatever Ryan Grimm was on back then. But yeah, this is great. So yeah, Ryan Grimm, Crystal Ball, friends of the show. And I guess this new guy, I forget what his name is, Sagar.
Republican races. House Republican races.
There's a member-on-member race in
because they got
Inland Empire.
because they got forced together
Young
with the
Kim
redistricting.
and King Calvert. Yeah.
Got it. All right, so let's start with the gubernatorial race. So how is it shaking out as you understand? Tom Steyer, has he consolidated enough kind of progressive energy that?
Let's put the poll up there.
Yeah.
Talking.
I mean, I think before the weekend, the thought was, okay, Steyer's probably going to come up short, and it would be a Becerra-Hilton general election.
Right,
However,
so that's what this fits with, right?
Yeah.
From the RCP average. But this is the last average of the last.
But the more recent.
Oh my God. Sorry, chat. I forgot. Another thing I wanted to ask. Is Chad Bianco going to drop out? Is this 10.9% that voted for Chad Bianco? Are they going to support Hilton? Because that'll be another big thing in the election. If the Republicans don't drop out, or one of the Republicans don't drop out, or if Steyer doesn't drop out, right? Deviate said that wouldn't be Chad if he does. Exactly. So he's probably not going to drop out. And that's going to split the Republican vote. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Steyer drops out.
Recent the polls are, the more they have Steyer catching Hilton.
Interesting.
So that puts forward the possibility of a Becerra-Steyer general election, which would be pretty interesting.
Okay, so let's talk then about that. So Becerra, obviously, he was HHS under Biden, kind of a California machine politician. In terms of how we know him here, it was for this viral moment where he was doing an interview and he didn't want to be interviewed. So let's take a listen and we'll get a reaction.
This is the start of our interview with Javier Becerra in Highland Park.
By the way, this is a profile piece. This is not a gotcha piece, right?
Well, look, I think these questions are fair. It's in order to learn about you as a candidate.
So long as it's about the profile.
I don't know how you define profile, but I'd like to begin the interview.
The way I describe profile is you talk about all the things that I've done, things I want to do, and along with some tough questions. But not only tough questions.
not only
This is a
for
man who has been in professional politics his entire life.
I just want to lay out the same ground rules for this.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
This is a profile.
Yeah, this is a profile.
Okay, good.
Right. Okay.
Tough ones.
I mean, look, I don't think this stuff matters. You were just talking, you and I before. A lot of people in California, there's not as much of a political culture. You're saying, well, particularly in Los Angeles. But I mean, it's got to have some impact, at least for among the activist base, for people who are paying attention, right?
It's been a really nutty race. Okay. So this is the first time in 20 years that we've entered a gubernatorial election without an establishment front-runner candidate from the get-go.
Okay.
And we had Jerry Brown. Then you had Gavin Newsom. And that's sort of been this sort of line of succession that we've had in California. When this race started, everyone was waiting on Kamala Harris. Is she going to run? She ends up saying no.
Literally Kamala Harris, Joe Biden's California. Kamala Harris was like, I'm not going to run for governor. Maybe I will, but presidency. And then we're like, okay, she's not going to do anything. She's busy on her book tour, 107 days, whatever. And then we're like, okay, move on. But yeah, she Joe Biden'd us.
Eleni Kounalakis, who was a lieutenant governor and scion of a rich family, they thought maybe she would be the heir apparent. She was getting absolutely no traction in the governor polls. She moved to run for state treasurer. They tried to dragoon Alex Padilla in the race. That didn't work out. He didn't come in. So there was just this emptiness in terms of, usually this is a very machine. You mentioned machine. It's like a machine state. They anoint somebody. Finally, the consultant class around Newsom, around Brown, they moved to Eric Swalwell, and that didn't work out. And then almost the day after Eric Swalwell implodes, many of those consultants say, hey, how about Javier Becerra? Like he was in the race. He was kind of languishing at 4%, 5% in the polls. And they just run to him. And so they're trying to recreate this sort of establishment, eat your peas kind of philosophy, but with someone who obviously is not a very articulate spokesman for the Democratic cause.
He's got zero juice.
Yeah, and so we had this weird story of you saw all of a sudden, as Swalwell drops out, this massive kind of social media campaign to say it's Becerra now.
I definitely saw it. Did you? I noticed that in real time being extremely inorganic.
And it now appears that it certainly was inorganic.
Yeah.
It completely vanished within a week. Like there's no such thing as an organic, Becerra-mentum campaign that just all of a sudden, they're like, actually, never mind.
So I liked when it was Becerra-mentum. Yeah. I'm playing my Atome game, dating all these, I'm not going to say it, samurai men, while watching all these men running for California. Yeah. If only we could have Atome election 2026, right? Pick your governor. Which route are you going to take? The Becerra route? Exactly. Deviates like question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm not going to explain what Atome game is. But yeah. Becerra era.
Oh, is somebody gonna go to jail for this? Like, because people in Becerra's orbit have gone to jail, right?
Well, to be honest, I mean, Steyer's paying influencers.
We'll get to don't worry.
There's inorganic all the way down, right?
Right. So maybe it's illegal-ish. I mean,
it's I don't think there are any rules here on the Wild West.
So did that really
That's crazy.
Did that get people to say, okay, you know what? I guess it is Becerra?
I think you can't divorce it from, frankly, the identity politics at the heart of this. California has about 40% Latino voters, and there was kind of this dust-up that happened in March that almost prefigures this. This is when Swalwell's still in the race. They said, okay, there was a USC debate, and they said, we're going to take the top vote, people top in the polls and top in fundraising, and they're going to run. And it was all the white people. And everyone who was shut out of that race was Asian, African-American, or Latino. And that debate ends up getting canceled. And
cancel culture.
Yeah. And so when Becerra kind of gets anointed, I think there's this sense that, okay, we're better than having just a bunch of white people that are in the
We've got this white Hispanic guy.
We've got this other guy. Yeah, exactly. So I do think there's an identity aspect to it.
Okay, that's well said. All right, let's get to our own Griffin, our producer, confronted Tom Steyer over the paid influencers. Let's get to it.
I think people have a problem with billionaires because they feel like that wealth should be redistributed elsewhere, but also because people feel like billionaires are a threat to our democracy. Now, some of your opponents have accused you of paying for influencer campaigns, paying influencers to promote your campaign. Are you paying influencers? And
we have never paid for an endorsement.
Okay.
We pay people for their time. They're small business people. They can put up whatever they want.
Yeah, I was a nervous
But we
laugh.
Has any of it been negative?
Or I don't know.
Read it. I don't follow it, honestly. Look, and it could be, and that's not the problem. We do this, and so does everybody else. It's just we do it openly, and we report everything. And so the Becerra campaign, which has been running from answering questions from people like you.
Okay, but yeah, so I guess the Becerra campaign has also been paying influencers. And oh my God, I freaked out because this was right around the time I put out the Becerra video, the governor maxing one. And I was like, oh my God, people are going to think I'm getting paid by Becerra. And I'm like, damn, I'm not. I have no money. By the way, subscribe if you want genuine, unbought, unpaid for opinions, unpaid for political analysis. That's me, Angelina Tucci. I'm here. Not getting paid by politicians, not getting paid by anyone. So it's genuine. Be sure to subscribe and like the video. Thank you.
Running not to talk to reporters, not to answer questions from Californians, is saying, they're trying to change the subject. The topic in California is the people of California and why it's not working for the people of California when the state as a whole is killing it. That is the question, and they're scared to talk about that.
So you don't think if someone accepts money from the campaign that they would pull questions, do softball interviews? Obviously, they're going to do positive content about you.
Look, they can do whatever they want, but we're not paying anyone for endorsements or outcomes.
But couldn't there be a bad billionaire that comes along and floods the race with influencers that are getting money from the campaign? Isn't that a dangerous precedent?
Well, let me put it this way. There have been billionaires who've run in California before, and they've always lost.
There you go. That's
that'll get used a lot if the outcome.
Yeah. He did a good job, Griffin. He held his feet to the fire. Steyer's like, well, we don't pay for the endorsement. We just pay a lot of money, and then they happen to endorse us.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. Everybody does it.
I mean, certainly that was kind of a ridiculous conversation. But, I mean, the kernel of truth is that Becerra doesn't really hold a lot of meetings with folks, and Steyer actually started this campaign by doing a ton of town halls.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to a few of them, and they are, to my knowledge, completely unscripted. In fact, I know it because I know people that ask questions, and he answers an hour and a half of questions off the top of his head. So Steyer is. He has afforded the ability to try to run a retail politics in California because he has $200 million back.
He doesn't have to raise money.
Yeah, he's just so wealthy.
He
doesn't
exactly.
care. Right.
And the other insidious part of this is that what he's saying there and what people understand is that he's like, no, I'm not telling them what to say. I'm hiring people, the unspoken part, who are already saying nice things about me to continue to say nice things about me. And that's the insidious part, is that it then encourages countless influencers besides the ones that he has hired to just voluntarily say nice things about Steyer with a pick-me.
Kind of a money grab.
Come pay me, come please pay me and I'll keep doing this.
Right.
So the whole thing's gross. But so let's talk about Steve Hilton for a second. So he's the Republican who's hoping, Steve Hilton.
Yeah.
So he's hoping that he's going to crack into the top two here.
Right.
He's got this Chad Bianco opponent who's trailing him. Let's roll this clip from Steve Hilton, kind of encouraging Bianco supporters to get behind him.
It's a very, very tight race. 3 people competing for 2 spots in the general election. Myself, Javier Becerra, and Tom Steyer.
Javier.
Tom Steyer is catching up. There is absolutely no guarantee that we're going to get a Republican in the top 2. In fact, it's now looking more and more likely that we'll have 2 Democrats in the top 2.
Dang.
I know that many Republicans were holding on to the hope that we might have 2 Republicans in the top 2, myself and Chad, and then we're guaranteed change in California. But if that was ever possible, it's certainly not possible today. You just have to look at the math. This is not personal. It's not about me or Chad or our qualities or our record or anything like that. It's about the future of California. And if we don't get a Republican in the top 2, we have no chance for change.
So this is because of the jungle primary system. Bianco's got about 10%, as we showed a little bit earlier. If that were combined with Hilton, then he would be the winner, or at least, he'd get to the top two.
Right. And, there was a lot of fear from Democrats early on in this race that we would actually have 2 Republicans because you have pretty much 8 viable.
And see, I told everyone who was freaking out. Every person was like, it might be 2 Republicans that make it to past the primary. And I'm like, that's not possible. We literally live in California. Who's going to be voting for Republicans, right? Yeah, Steve is at 25% right now. Let me pull up that. There we go. NBC. Yeah, Steve is at 25% even. That's crazy. It's crazy how well Steyer did. Steyer did better than Bianco. And Bianco was on the stage they made the effort to let Bianco be center stage, right? But nah. So yeah, he did worse than Tom Steyer. That's crazy. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Yes, thank you. It might be 2 Republicans. It was never a chance. There was never a chance. You know what? Shout out to this kid in my class. He was super young. By the way, I'm so glad I don't ever have to go to school ever again. I mean, I'm so glad I don't ever have to go to Cal State San Bernardino ever again. Oh my God. But yeah, there was this kid in my class. He was so young. He was so young, and he would be like, it's going to be 2 Republicans that make it past the primary. And it's like, nah, brother. Nah. I mean, sure, you have your little dream because you think you know something, but nah, look it. The proof is in the pudding. I don't even remember what that kid's name was. But yeah. So Chad Bianco only got 10%. He didn't even get 1 million votes. I mean, 1 million. Whatever. I'm getting so confused with my zeros. 1,000. Thank you. All right, let's continue with this.
Democrats at one point that were running, and 2 viable Republicans, and you do the math, and if it was an even split among the Republicans, it would be hard for Democrats to, unless they consolidated the field on their own.
But shown in a box. Well, actually, stop, canceled, get out, ban in chat. Oh my God. See, no, it's not going to be 2 Republicans. It was never going to happen. So I think the what they were saying is that Democrats voted by mail more. my data says. Freaking data nerds, bro. Data nerds. What? We're at 80% counted, right? Wait, here we go. Yeah, we're 85% votes expected in. Yeah, I know. But showing in a box, you're not gonna be a mod no more. You gotta be careful, okay? We're gonna give DV8 your mod spot.
But when Trump endorsed Steve Hilton, that was the end of the race for the Republicans, essentially. Trump endorses Steve Hilton, Bianco falls down, and now there's no way to box out the Democrats.
Got it.
And at that point, it was, Steve Hilton's talking about, I think it is important for other reasons that, from a Republican perspective, they get in the top 2. There's a billionaire tax on the ballot in November, and that's going to be bad for turnout. That's good. There are a lot of contested seats in the House in November. That's going to be bad for them if they have no standard bearer at the top.
That is a very important point, is that they'll have even less incentive to come out to vote if there's not a single Republican in the top 2.
Absolutely. And so it is important from that perspective for the party. But there's no way that Steve Hilton wins a one-on-one matchup against Becerra
it's like
or
a kiss of
Steyer.
death,
so why hasn't Bianco dropped out and endorsed Hilton? What's going on?
I mean,
Yes, what is
Bianco's
going
kind
on?
of in his own world.
And he's not gonna.
I
Like
mean,
today's election day. It's-
Bianco is in his own world. Hold on, let me go to Bianco's Instagram. Search a Chad. Oh my God, no, I don't want to talk about Zelda right now. Here we go. Oh, how queer! His little handle is Sheriff Bianco. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Chad Bianco. Oh my God, his wife's name is Denise. Hold on. Oh. Oof. 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 Oh, Alex Michelson is following her. Deviate said, yeah, Steve won't win. The Dems were split on a lot of the vote to someone else. Vishonen said, God, I hate seeing this cops ads on my grandma's TV. You mean this one? Damn, look at that. It's a truck. What is it? Oh my God. Bianco for governor. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is it. It's just truck. Chad is not even in. Oh my goodness. This is okay. We're done with this. It didn't even do a jump or anything. Oh my God. Here's Chad Bianco with Patrick Bet David. That's crazy. Okay. So the Biancos. Here's his wife. Patrick Bet David right in the middle. The Bissonen said the one where he's walking towards the camera saying we need to stop giving people in jail money. That's what he said. He said we're giving people in jail money. Oh God, look, here he is with Jillian Michaels. No way. Is she that short? That's crazy. It's just the height difference. Patrick Bet David out, taller than both of them. Oh wait, there's more pictures. Oh, that's so. Chad was like, I gotta get the motorcycles. I gotta get a video of the motorcycles. What is this Patrick Bet David face? He looks lost. Oh my God, I didn't realize that Chad Bianco has his badge on his belt. Oh, that's so cringe. Oh my God. And then here's the wife next to the Hulk. Oh my God. Oh God. Okay. So he really has not said anything. He has not said anything since. Oh no, no. Who is this? Oh no, these are Mexicans for Bianco. Latinos for Bianco. But I don't see a single Latino. Is that guy Latino? I mean, he's short enough, I guess. DV8 said they always need a flag around them. It's weird. It's gender affirming. The flag is gender affirming for them. I can't with the music. No, where is this? Oh my God, they're having tacos. No, is that Bedia? Oh, that meat looks dry. That meat looks dry as hell. Oh, Sorry, I don't know if this music is copyrighted. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my goodness, what an event. Oh my god. Okay, I don't know who this lady in the middle is. Was her name Cariña Powers? DVA said looks like tongue. You mean lengua? It looked like lengua. Oh no, is she also running? Chairwoman of the RNHA underscore. Oh, Republican National Hispanic Assembly. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Okay. You know what? Let's founder of Latinos for Medical Freedom. Ooh, what does that mean? Deviate said, so he likes Mexican music but doesn't like the people who made it. That's right. And then this lady, Latinos for Medical Freedom. Creando por un madre latina. I don't know what that means. Luchar por los derechos de nuestros futuro. Nuestros hijos. A better future for our kids. That sounds. Yes. Thank you. Deviate. The logo looks like a the Nazi eagle. Yeah, this is interesting. Los Angeles. Oh, is this something that was started during COVID? I think that's what it is. Let's see. When was this posted? This was posted April 17th, 2024. Huh. Yeah, this sounds like something. Okay, here, let's watch this lady. Say something.
Hola, hola.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, that was her phone. Oh, no.
Vamos a hablar un poquito sobre lo que pasó ahora. This will be in English. And in Spanish, we'll be sharing what's happened if you haven't heard.
What happened? This is August 31st, 2022.
I'm just waiting for Karen who's my partner in crime when it comes to the Renacimiento Latino.
Oh.
Here she is.
This is crazy.
How's everybody doing?
Man, she just uploaded her whole live video. Come on. Where's like an edited something other than her photos? Look at that Facetune, bro. Okay, I can't. I'm going to get real mean real fast. Okay, are we doing another live or is this? Yeah, that's another live that she posted.
Yesterday, Daily News published this article titled Granada Hills Charter High Bars Unvaccinated Students from In-Person Graduation. This article expresses the disappointment that Andrew Luna and 70 other students, including myself, share from not being able to experience a normal high school education, which, yes, affected my and 70
Okay. I called it. It was Latinos for Medical Freedom. It was just, why is this not loading? Okay. Latinos for Medical Freedom was just Latinos against mandated vaccines. That's what it has to be. Oh, look at here. Vax-Unvax, the People Study Bus Tour. Polly Tomani and team are interviewing individuals and family members of those who were harmed or died. I don't know how they're going to interview a dead person. Those who were harmed or died by vaccines. Come tell your story or just come by, visit, and connect with like-minded people. We will have booth, crafts, and entertainment. We look forward to meeting you. Wow. When was their last post? Deviate said. Well, their last post was from 2024. So they probably haven't been doing things, or this lady just transitioned into something else. Like, like I feel like most anti-vaxxers, what was their trajectory, right? Um, because oh my God, we got to go back in time 6 years, right? Pandemic was 6 years ago, or started 6 years ago, and people were absolutely, well, I mean, after, okay, so first they lost their minds about the closing down, and then they lost their minds about the mandated vaccines. Then they lost their minds about about this, like they went from the vaccines in schools to trans kids in schools. Like I'm trying to think, there was no in between. Conservative parents or conservatives in general were like, we need to protect our children. Oh, how could I forget Pizzagate? Of course, right? We they were it wasn't even Pizzagate. This happened after 2020. They were like, where are the children? There's so many children missing or whatever, right? So first it was protect our children. You can't stop our unvaccinated children from going to school. You can't mandate to vaccinate our children. And then uh they're stealing our children, or they're taking our children, blah blah blah. This was before Epstein really popped off, because like I remember when the Epstein stuff popped off, I was like, where are all the people asking about the children missing? Because some of them sound like they're on this island. So yes, it was then the where are the children? Then they moved to the trans sports. We need to protect girls in school from trans students. And yeah, I don't know what's going to be on what they're going to be on next. But yeah, this is what this is. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I think her name is Carina, but Carina. Carina. Okay. I was putting an Enye in there. Um, oh, is she a big homeschool advocate? Mm. See, it's all lining up. Yeah.
Work on Saturday mornings. I blocked this weekend off. Buenos días. Yo aquí nomás.
Okay. Keep on
Pues ya saben, ¿para qué les cuento?
I love how you could see the
Que
beauty
estoy
filter struggling.
en mi educación del hogar.
Hold on, sorry. You could see when she's drinking her coffee, the filter that she has on is struggling to cover her face. Brothers, stop putting filters on.
Feliz. Buenos días.
Okay, watch.
Yo aquí nomás.
Gone, unable.
Pues ya saben, ¿para qué les cuento? Que estoy en mi educación del hogar, en plena planificación y plena... Ay, ¿para qué les cuento? I survived the first week. You know what the funny thing is? That while many mothers out there are jumping of joy to send their kids off and drop them off wherever they have to drop them off to or whatever, us homeschool moms are like, oh my goodness, we start our frazzled state of mind because we're going, especially if you have multiple children in different grade levels, planning their school and their classes. I
like that.
That's
a very serious job, is it not? Right? Like it's almost like teaching children, educating children is something that you can't just pull out of your behind. You have to go and get certifications and education and learn more than just about how to teach your children. You learn different techniques to deal with different varieties of children. Sorry, this is my own gripe against homeschooled people. They think they know everything. It's like with atheists, right? Like, okay, I get it. You don't believe in God. I get it. You don't believe in public schools. Trust me, I understand where you're coming from. I get it. I was raised Catholic. I was raised public school. But don't go around telling me that your religion, that your way of homeschooling is so much more better, and that actually homeschooling should be the only form of schooling. Brother, no, this goes against what it is to be an American. You can't force everyone to be homeschooled. You can't force every student to have a voucher. Man, we need public schools. Whatever. Sorry. Shown in a Box said, it's really effed, a lot of religious Hispanic moms who will fall for this because they are actually scared of the state of the world and all this misinformation online, especially Facebook. Exactly. And this lady, I feel like she was preying on it. She was probably thriving during the pandemic. And now this is all she had. Or this, this is her claim to fame, is that she took a picture with Chad Bianco. TVA said I was raised Monty Mole. Okay, at least it's not the eagle. Oh my god, what is this? Chad Bianco? Oh, Chad Bianco actually, there's this AI. Oh, that's so cringe. Oh, that's so cringe. Okay. Chad Bianco is so gay, bro. Okay. All right. I don't even know how we got on this lady. Oh, I just had to figure out who she was. Oh, yeah, and we were looking at Denise Bianco. So we don't know if Chad Bianco is going to concede. He hasn't at all. Interesting. Let's see. And his last post was that truck video, April 23rd. Yeah. No stories either. Interesting. All right. I guess Bianco's not going to drop out, because I'm pretty sure it was, what did we see? I think I saw something of him saying that, he's still got to go or whatever. I don't know. This one comment from Jolene Jean Monroy. Jolene Jean Monroy, please don't stop fighting, Sheriff Bianco. We all voted for you, praying for justice. I'm sorry. It's just like, what are these comments? Don't give up. California needs you more than ever. You know what? I want to get a cowboy hat, and I want to get it signed by Chad Bianco. DVA, I should get Instagram just to be in the comments messaging with them. Yeah, go on Instagram. Get in with Meta. There's actually, especially with the Inland Empire, that's like people are answering my messages. I am talking to people in ways that I would never talk to. So it's really cool. All right. Let's go for a little bit more and then we'll end today's broadcast. But I think we covered everything. It's like, really, I don't know when the ballots are going to be fully counted.
And the thing is, they're even if you dropped out now, you'd still be on the ballot.
Right.
There are 61 gubernatorial candidates on the ballot. It runs over 2 pages of the ballot. One of the sort of hidden things here, I think, is there's going to be a lot of ballot spoliation.
Bishonen,
it means that people are either going to vote for nobody because they can't find their candidate among the 60.
I was planning just to stream for 2 hours, and we're already at 2 hours. But I thought she was going to play Zelda. No, we'll save gaming for another day. We will game. We need to start building our gamer cred on YouTube. But I just don't feel like gaming. I mean, I don't feel like performing and gaming at the same time.
Or they're on 2 pages. So like, oh, I'll vote for one here and I'll vote for one over here. And there's going to be undervotes and there's going to be overvotes and there's going to be a lot of ballots thrown out. The other thing that you're going to see as the numbers come in is Democrats held their ballots to a degree that was fairly unprecedented.
What do you mean by
in Democratic politics? Everybody gets a ballot from the state by mail at the beginning of the cycle 30 days ago. Typically, they come back. Some come back early. Some come back later. What we see, because we can track this, Democrats were not turning back their ballots because they wanted to wait to see where the polls were, who people were going towards, because Democrats were still scared about a top two that locked out Democrats that would be Republican general election, and you can't do a write-in ballot, by the way, under the top two system. So they were waiting to see.
Okay, because I was gonna say, what's to stop people from doing write-in on the final ballot? I had no idea you couldn't do write-in. That seems kind of undemocratic. Well, I guess you could just sit out the vote, but damn. Yeah, Bashonen, we know you're the real. We know you're the real gamer here. I'm just a fake gamer, fake streamer, fake political scientist. No. You guys crack me up.
What was going to happen. And in the last weekend, twice as many ballots as in the previous 25 days were sent in. Wow. It's now tracking higher than the 2022 election, higher than the 2018 election, which was a contested gubernatorial primary at the top. Yeah. So, the 2018 election? So now we're starting to see. But however,
I voted. No, I did not vote in that election. Damn, that was probably Jerry Brown? No, that was Newsom, right? In 2018.
The votes are going to be counted. We're going to count all those ballots that came in earlier, which were disproportionately Republican. So as votes,
and were some of them before Trump's endorsement?
Some, no, not they actually weren't. But so when the polls close tonight, Hilton's going to be in the lead.
Got it. But how long is this going to take?
Weeks. Ridiculous.
Okay, can we get it? Why? Why is this
They're trying to streamline it, but well, I mean, actually, it's a very interesting thing because the Supreme Court kind of changed the game on this. It used to be that your ballot had to be postmarked by election day, and it would count. So some of those ballots come in 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 10 days later, and you got to count them. Now the Supreme Court ruled that actually the ballot has to show up on election day, and there was a lot of chatter among in my circles among Democrats. You actually have to send. You can't send your ballot through the mail after a week ago. Send it to the vote center. Send it to the ballot. Like go to the ballot box and then physically drop it in. Yeah. So I think there's also going to be a lot of people who didn't learn that, and their ballot isn't going to count. So there's like a lot of weird factors in this race.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think this is bullish for? If you like bullish for the last week?
That's a good question. I mean, I think lower information voters who don't know where to find their guy on the ballot, who don't sort of follow directions very well, and they're like marking multiple ballots, or who don't understand like you could drop it in the mail and it just doesn't show up and you don't get counted. I don't know who that favors necessarily, but I think lower information voters are going to be.
And want to get your sense on a couple of the California House races. First of all, for people who don't know, New Jersey.
No, we're not going to listen to the House races. But okay. All right, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there, chat. Let's start up the music. Yes, thank you for joining me. Yes, throw out the placentas in chat. I guess that's the thing we're doing now. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. I will be back later. We have a great little mini doc coming out. By the end of the week, it's already a video that is edited. It is being uploaded right now as we speak. Great video coming out. Be sure to subscribe for that. Follow, hit the like button on this video. We got great stuff in the works. So yeah, hell yeah. No, Deviate said you can comment that anytime. No, placenta only happens at the end. Placenta only happens at the end of the stream. So okay, yeah. Have a good night, everyone. See you later. Stay strong. We got this. We're here. We're queer, and it's Pride Month. That's right. It's Pride Month. Happy Pride, everyone. All right, peace out.